To us who are here and to those watching by video this morning, the message is entitled The Holder. The NFL season has begun. The football season has begun. We've got high school, we've got college. Next week we've got the NFL. And when the season starts, you always find there is just an incredible amount of commentators asking a question over and over and over: who's going to be the best? Who's going to be the best? Who's going to be the best team? And we're already predicting who's going to have the best high school team, and who's going to have the best college team, and who's going to be the best NFL team, who's going to be in the Super Bowl. They're already giving all their predictions. And then they ask the question, who's going to be the best players? And if you picked up the Columbus paper, they got a whole thing on the best players in Ohio to watch play. And several of them are right here in the Columbus area. So if you want to see some great athletes who are going to get great scholarships to great colleges, you can go to some high school games and see some great players. They're telling you who the best are. That there are those who are now saying, this person's going to win the Heisman. This person's going to be the best player in college football. And all this really starts because the first real kickoff to the football season is the Hall of Fame game. And at the Hall of Fame game, it comes right after the induction of Hall of Fame players who are the best of the best. And that just kicks off this, who's the best in this, who's the best in this position, the best in that. Well, while we talk about the best, the NFL years ago released a video, The Greatest Follies of All Time. And they showed all these players making huge mistakes. I mean, one mistake after another, stupid plays, doing the dumbest things, and you couldn't help but just laugh your head off watching them make these kind of mistakes. Well, you could then start deciding who had made the worst play of all time. Who made the worst play of all time? Well, one of the worst plays of all time comes from a player who has a position that most people don't talk about, the holder. The holder. It happened in a playoff game. Dallas is playing Seattle. I'll set it up for you. It's a wild card game. It's January the 7th, 2007. And as we get to the end of the game, Dallas is losing. I love that. They're down 21-20. They've got the ball almost in the end zone, but they got stopped. And with the fourth down coming, a decision was made that they would kick a field goal. It's fourth quarter, 1:19 to go in the game. Here's what happens.
So if you're Parcells, I mean, you're almost compelled to go for the field goal.
He has to kick the field goal.
Seattle had to take a timeout. Once the play was reviewed by Walt Anderson, the clock was going to start again, so Holmgren had to take the timeout. So Seattle is now out of timeouts. Now you have to try to take the lead here with Gramatica. In effect, a field goal the distance of an extra point. Then, with 1 minute and 19 seconds minus what this play takes, Seattle will get the ball, and all they will need is a field goal to win the game. And they've got the best clutch field goal kicker in America this year in Josh Brown. Meanwhile, here's Gramatica. Romo holds. 19-yard field goal attempt. Oh, it's stolen by Romo, and then Romo's going to run to the end zone, and he's going to get tackled by Jordan Babineau. Amazing.
Unbelievable.
How crazy is this?
Amazing. Unbelievable. How crazy is this? There is Tony Romo fumbling the snap. Cost Dallas the game. And he's a pretty good quarterback. He's not one of the best, but he's a pretty good quarterback. But he is remembered to this day for that play. He dropped the ball. Now, if we were to say who's the worst holder of all time, well, that's pretty significant. He lost a playoff game for his team because he couldn't hold on to the ball. But folks, the worst holder of all time, if you were here last week, I told you, her name is Lucy. You remember Lucy? Lucy loved to hold the football. She loved to hold the football for one person in particular, Charlie Brown. Oh, she wanted him to kick that old pigskin. And she'd invite him to come and try every year. At some point, about this time of the year, every year in the comics, Lucy said, Charlie Brown, come here and try.
The pile of leaves is a wet sucker. Say, Charlie Brown, I've got a football. How about practicing a few place kicks? I'll hold the ball, and you come running and kick it.
Oh, brother. I don't mind your dishonesty half as much as I mind your opinion of me. You must think I'm stupid.
Oh, come on, Charlie Brown.
No.
I'll hold it steady.
No.
Please?
You just want me to come running up to kick that ball so you can pull it away and see me land flat on my back and kill myself.
This time you can trust me. See? Here's a signed document, testifying that I promise not to pull it away.
It is signed. It's a signed document. I guess if you have a signed document in your possession, you can't go wrong. This year I'm really going to kick that football.
Peculiar thing about this document, it was never notarized.
Oh my. Charlie Brown. Done in again by Lucy. So you look at the cartoon. Charlie Brown. Filled with ambition, filled with dreams. He needs a holder. Can't accomplish this without someone holding that football. But there's Lucy. Lucy pulls that football out, and there goes Charlie Brown down to the ground. We all have Lucys in our lives. We will always have a Lucy here and there, from time to time, in our lives. How do you describe Lucy? Lucy could be described this morning as someone that is inconsiderate to flat out cruel. You watch what happens, and there's a component of we chuckle, but there's a component of as we watch it, we see a person who jerks away a person's dream. Lucy is a dream killer. Lucy is someone who would rather see you fail than succeed. A Lucy is someone who would rather hurt you than help you. This morning, we all have our Lucy stories. I've wondered years ago when Charles Schulz put this out, the first time he ever showed it, was he revealing something in his own life, saying, I've been treated like this. I've had someone come into my life and they jerked the football out from me. I had my dream, I had my plans, I had my goals, and as I went for it, someone just jerked the football, the proverbial football away, and I came crashing down. We all have a Lucy. We all have Lucys. I think we could tell stories today. But this morning, I want to say this to us. While I could be bringing a message this morning on how to respond to Lucy, and let's just think about that for a quick second. How would you respond to Lucy? If you just saw that happen, you're there as her parent, what would you do to Lucy? I know what would happen to me. It's called a woodshed. My parents would have taken me to the woodshed for doing that kind of action to another person. What if I'm standing there as her pastor watching it? I mean, I want to yell, Lucy, you got to get right with God. We're not going to keep putting up with you being mean and cruel. The Bible says be kind to one another. What if you were her friend? What are you going to say to Lucy when you see her hurt somebody else? What are you going to say this morning if you're Charlie Brown? Let's just be honest for a moment, just for a moment. If you're Charlie Brown and that just happened to you, what do you really want to do? Yeah, I want to kick her in the teeth. I want to punch her out. You have hurt me. Now, we could do a whole message on how to respond to her. And quite frankly, we may need a message at some point on how to get over Lucy. Because, again, we deal with pain. All of us have had pain. And we're going to get more pain. Because there's going to be Lucys in our lives. We could do a message this morning on how to respond to Lucy. She needs to get right with God. We could do a message on how to handle what Lucy did to us. But I'm going to tell you where we're going to go this morning. I want to give us a challenge today not to be Lucy. Because, see, there's some things I just can't control with other people. But I can control me. And this morning the challenge then is for us not to be a Lucy. And the title of the message then is going to be, It's Time to Be a True and Faithful Holder. How to be a true and faithful holder. How to be someone that other people can rely on. And this morning I would say to you, if you're going to be a true and faithful holder, you're not going to be a Lucy. Number one, you're going to have to be a person who has more than a willingness to help, but you have a desire to help. There's going to be something in you this morning that doesn't just say, I wonder if they need something. I wonder if I can be a help to them. But you're going to be aggressive. You're going to be proactive. You're going to want to find out, is there anything I can do to help you? A person who wants to be a holder is going to have a mindset of, I want to help you. Now, we're going to have to backtrack for just a second and think about this from the standpoint of a football holder. And I've got a couple of you guys in here know about coaching and all this. When players come out to try out for a football team, they don't show up with, hey, coach, you know what I want to be this year? I want to be the holder. Matter of fact, if you look at the roster for the Ohio State Buckeyes this year, there is no one listed as the holder. There's no position called the holder. Yet every game, a holder has to be part of the game if a team is going to kick an extra point or kick a field goal. It's a crucial position. We just saw it with Tony Romo in a playoff game. A mistake was made. A team lost because he didn't get the football put down. This is a huge position. Yet no one goes out for it. No one shows up going, Coach, this is what I want to be. And if you go to the Hall of Fame, you'll never find a Hall of Fame holder. Hall of Fame quarterbacks, Hall of Fame running backs, Hall of Fame receivers, Hall of Fame defensive backs. But there's no Hall of Fame holder. A holder. That's got to be somebody who really wants to be in the game and participate. They want to be able to do something for someone else. And this morning, if you're going to be a holder, you're going to have a mindset that says, I'm not just wanting to help, I desire to help. And that leads me to secondly to say this morning, a holder has a mindset of others before them. Others before them. A holder, as I was just talking a little bit about them, they're not the ones who are going to get the recognition. Yesterday, one of the teams, I forget which one it was now, the guy kicked a 57-yard field goal, which, ladies, that's a long ways. That's a pretty good deal. He kicked a 57-yard field goal. Everybody was congratulating the kicker. People were lifting him up in the air, and the camera was on him. I go, what about the holder? Somebody, tell us who held. Tell us who was able to put the ball down. Nobody talked about the holder. He was insignificant. He gets no recognition. A holder is going to be someone who wants others to succeed. A holder is someone who wants others to experience glory. Now, when you look at that, you got to ask yourself a question. Is that me? Is that really how you think about life? That you're living your life with a thought, I want others to experience glory? As we go through life, it seems that we go through stages. At least we should. And the reason for this statement there in parentheses is because what we're going to find out here this morning is that some people will get stuck in a stage and it's going to become very detrimental to others and even to themselves as life goes on. There's some stages that they need to be going through. What are the stages of life? Well, the early stages go like this. We start off with the stage of survival. And you know what? You recognize that stage the moment you are around a newborn. I mean, the moment that baby is born, we're not there very long, and all of a sudden that baby is in a mode of survival, and they are hungry. And what do? They tell you they're hungry, and they begin to cry, and they want you to satisfy them. And then, as they get a little bit older, they still, I need this. You got to get me this. Mom, Dad, I need this. They're constantly, because they got to survive. Survival is in their DNA. I've got to survive. And you know what? From 7 months to 7 years to 70 years, we got a mindset of survival. It's in us. We've got to survive. We've got to survive. And when push comes to shove, some of the basic instincts start coming out. Sometimes really bad for survival. I mean, folks, right now there is some people who are trying to survive. They're coming out of Syria. And they're trying to get into countries in Europe right now. And if you watch some of the pictures, you're seeing moms and dads, and they've got survival written all over their faces. They're not thinking about anything else right now except for how do I get my family to a place where we can get some food and some water and some shelter. Refugees. Survival has kicked in. We want to talk to you about how to be successful. They're not worried about how to be successful. They're just trying to figure out where can we get so we don't die. And we have that instinct. But for many of us, survival moves as we get a little bit older till we begin to have a mindset of thinking, you know what I want in life? I want security. I need security. Security is the answer to no longer having to live by survival. And what's going to give me security? What's going to give me security? What's going to give me security? And what have we been taught in America that will give you security? Money. If I can make money, if I can earn money, if I can get money, I can have security. I can finally have the peace that I don't have to live by every moment. I can survive. And Dan, he's a financial planner. Dan, how's that work out for people? Financial security. There is no such thing. We could have financial soundness. But one day the market's here, and the next day the market's here, and you're up and down, and I just got to have security. I just got to have security. And we come up with all kind of things that will say, I have security. We move from security to, you know what I'm living for? I'm living for success. Because as I look all around, I see people being successful, and I want to be successful. And we all define this word differently. You define success based on your family, based on your friends, based on your occupation. You begin to look at other people, and comparison begins to kick in. And you say, I can be successful if I achieve this. If I ever do this, I'll be successful. And success is what we drive for. And again, you have to define it. I can't define it for you, but every one of us have this mindset. This is successful, this is not successful, and so we're striving for success, striving for success, striving for success. And with this success thought comes something else now that's more than ever. We are in a stage that seems to be known as self-absorbed. We are self-absorbed. We're self-absorbed. Now, I look at my congregation in front of me right now, and this isn't how you were raised. Let's be honest. We were not raised this way. But the millennials, this very week, one of the big surveys were done, and the millennials admitted what we have been knowing for a long time. They admitted that they are self-absorbed. The millennial generation, these 15 to 25-year-olds, they are absorbed with themselves. Life is all about them. Now, do you understand how dangerous that is? When we talk about the greatest generation, you think about people who came through the Great Depression. You think about people who came through the Great Wars. What was the word during those days? Everyone had to sacrifice. And you were willing to sacrifice even your life so that other people could enjoy freedom. But when you're self-absorbed, you're only focusing on you. It's all about you. I've got to have the best job. I've got to have the best home. It's all about me, and me. And because of that, it's all about the status I can get. And we're striving for status. And you watch the movie, you watch those reality shows, you watch the award shows. It's all about what awards I can get. I mean, even now, when we have a soccer team, the 8th place team is going to get an 8th place trophy. Everyone on the team is going to get a trophy. Because everybody's got to have some kind of status. So what does this tell us? The early stages are marked with selfishness. That's what we are. We're selfish. We're selfish. We're selfish. We're selfish. But folks, somewhere along the line, the boy has to sit down, the man stands up, the girl sits down, the woman stands up. We move into what's called adulthood. And the entrance into adulthood calls from a transition from selfishness to living a life of sacrifice. You know my background. I worked at Liberty with all these college students. Almost 95% of them were single, thinking about getting married. How do you know when someone's ready to get married? I had a little test. Simple question. I'm listening, because they're not going to answer it outright, but I'm listening for how they phrase some wording. It really comes down to this. I am looking forward to getting love versus I am looking forward to giving love. Do you know how much difference there is between those two statements? Night and day. East and west. I mean, we're talking about major differences. When a person's going into marriage and their thought is, I'm looking forward to getting love, selfishness reigns. I'm looking forward to giving love. you'll see a person who'll sacrifice, who'll go the extra mile. This isn't just in marriage. Think about this in work. I show up to work, and what if I'm going to work for? For what I can get. I go to work for what I can give. So here's what's happening. We're in a stage. And all this is about thinking about others. Because you can say think about others, but how do you think about others? Well, you're going to have to change your thinking about how you think about you to think about others. So we started off with survival. We moved to security. We're after success. We're self-absorbed. We're after that status. But now comes a challenge to move to the stage of sacrifice, which if you'll move to it, you move to a life of significance. And ladies and gentlemen, that's what I'm after for you. That's what I'm after for me. I want to have a life of significance. I want to have a life that's going to make a difference in another person's life. That's the life of significance. And it's not just while you are alive now. Had a conversation with a gentleman yesterday, and he said, Dwayne, I'm in my fourth quarter now. He said, I think I'm getting closer to the 2-minute warning. I said, yep, you are. He said, when it hits 0, 0, 0, it's all over. I said, no, hold on a moment. Hold on. I said, I want to beg to differ for just a moment. I hear what you're saying. It's all over at 0, 0, 0, but you know what? It's not. He said, what do you mean it's not? I said, there's a guy by the name of Abel. Do you know who Abel is? He's the son of Adam and Eve. We're talking about the very beginning. You know what the Bible says? He being dead still speaks. And how much truth is there to that statement? I just said his name to you. We talk about Abel and how he worshiped God with a sacrifice. He's dead, but he still speaks because he followed God and he did the right things. And if you live right, you can keep on living even though you're dead by making an impact in people's lives because you did something for others. John F. Kennedy got this one right, didn't he? For us of that older generation, he got this one right. He said this statement, ask not what your country can do for you, but rather what you can do for your country. I wonder how that would go over today in an inauguration speech. When we're so self-absorbed and all about ourselves. What's the Bible say on this one? Oh, this one, these are those verses that you really wish could get cut out of the Bible because they're so convicting. Let nothing be done through selfish ambition or conceit, but in lowliness of mind let each esteem others better than himself. Let each of you look out not only for your own interest, but also for the interest of others. You're going to be a holder. It's not about you. You're going to step into the game and you're going to say, how can I help you achieve your dreams? Not only are you going to think about others, you're going to be a learner. A holder is a learner. A holder is a learner. Now just from the standpoint of being the football holder, it's not the most skilled position, but it is a component where you've got to be able to know where to put down the ball. You're going to be about 7 yards back. You're going to find the right spot. You're going to put that ball down. You're going to spin it just right so when the kicker kicks it, it's going to go the direction he needs it or she needs it to go. A holder's a learner. How do we do the learning as Christians? Hebrews chapter 10 verse 24 says, and let us consider one another in order to stir up love and good works. Let us consider. Let us consider. The Greek word for consider is to be up close to understand. It's 2 Greek words with the second Greek word meaning to understand. The first Greek word is to come up close. For me to be able to help you with your life, I need to be able to come up close to you and pay attention to what's going on in your life, to understand the needs that you're dealing with. So the Amplified Bible writes it this way. I love this statement. And let us consider and give attentive, continuous care to watching over one another. Watch the word studying. Studying how we may stir up, stimulate, and incite to love and helpful deeds and noble activities. I need to be able to come up close to you. You need to be able to come up close to me. And we study each other of how I can help you and how you can help me. How you doing today? That's not considering, folks. Considering is getting up close. I want to know what's happening in your life. How can I help you? I'll take it another level. James chapter 1, verse 27. Religion that is pure and undefiled before God, the Father, is this: to visit orphans and widows in their affliction. That sounds pretty good, doesn't it? What does it mean to visit? We've all visited, stopped by, knocked on the door. Hey, how you doing? Let me take it to another level, folks. Greek word really helps here. The word visit, scopus. What English word do you see? You see the word scope. To visit is to scope orphans and widows in their affliction. So scopus, scope, to look upon or after, to inspect, examine with the eyes, to bring up close. Real easy, microscope. All of a sudden, something that I can't hardly see now, it's large. Telescope, something long ways, bring it up close where I can see it. Your job when you're out there around other people is to visit, to scope, to see a need. A deacon goes driving down a road. He goes by a widow's house. He stops. How you doing today? He looks around. How's a nice little visit? But when he gets back to the church, he says, hey guys, I was down to see this lady today, and I noticed something. Her woodshed is empty. It's October, guys. Saturday morning, we all met. We cut 4 loads of firewood. We filled her woodshed with wood. That deacon was doing James 1:27. He drove by a house, stopped and said hello, but more than saying hello, he looked. He saw something that was missing, and he said, we need to meet the need. That's a holder. A holder is learning what the needs are. A holder is determined. A holder is determined. We're going to get this done. You got to have people in your life. You got to have people in your life who says, we can do this. And when that holder goes on the field, when they walk out there, someone's got to have the mindset, because many times when they're going out to kick the field goal, there's already a little bit of, we didn't get the touchdown, so wait a minute, hold on. We can still get 3 points. There's got to be focus here. We can do this. Many times it's from an angle. Many times it's from a long distance. We can do this. You've got to have people in your life that have that mindset of determination. And a holder will come in and say, we will get this done. And then a holder is someone who is an encourager. A holder is someone who is an encourager. I'm playing off of the component of football right now. And in most of the way football is played out in high school, in college, and even in the pros, there's always going to be a number of kickers who are doing it for the first time. Yesterday, kickoff for the college football season, you got a lot of kickers for the first time. And you know what they need more than anything when they're walking out there with all the people screaming? Now they're doing it live. This is the real thing. They need encouragement. You know what God told Moses to do? There's a guy by the name of Joshua Moses, and he's going to be taken over, and he's going to be scared to death. And here's what I want you to do. You command Joshua and encourage him. Encourage him. Encourage him and strengthen him. And he shall go over before this people, and he shall cause them to inherit the land which you will see. Moses, I want you to encourage Joshua. New people need encouragement. A holder knows how to step in and say, okay, we're going to move forward. We can do this. I'm going to help you. But then, you know when a holder is really needed? That encouragement is really needed after a failure. You know, if you watch these games, when a kicker misses, there's not many people coming by him now to congratulate. No, there's nobody coming. Nobody wants to talk to him. Matter of fact, well, let's just be honest, sports fans. I sure would like to kick some kickers. There's been some moments like, are you kidding me? Your only job was to kick. I mean, come on. Oh, who usually encourages the kicker who just missed? His holder. And folks, I don't know if this is your life, but I think it is. As we journey through life, we will have more failures than we will successes. And we're going to need encouragement. And a great holder, someone who comes in with encouragement. My hero, Nehemiah, man alive, rebuilding a wall. He's getting it done. Nehemiah chapter 4, half the wall was built up. I mean, they're getting it done. But verse 10 says this. Then Judah said, the strength of the laborers is failing. They were tired. And there's so much rubbish. It was a mess. It's a work site. And we're not able to build the wall. Our adversaries say they will neither know or see anything until we come in the midst and kill them and cause the work to cease. We're under attack. Nehemiah, you got a great idea, but we're wore out. We're discouraged. Verse 13 says, Nehemiah came, did a little reorganizing, and then he said, look, folks, here's the deal. Do not be afraid. Remember the Lord, great and awesome. Fight for your brethren, your sons, your daughters, your wives, and your houses. There's never been a halftime speech like Nehemiah gave. He said, get back in there and fight. You fight for your families. Fight for your survival. Fight for this city. And he encouraged the people to stay at it, to stay at it, to stay at it. And 26 days later, which totaled 52 days, the wall was rebuilt. Because he gave them encouragement not to give up. Encourage. Put the courage in them to keep going. And then lastly this morning, a holder is reliable. A holder is reliable. Here we go. Back to that picture that we've been trying to give you this morning of Lucy. I'll hold the ball, Charlie Brown, and you come running up and kick it. Okay, it's a deal. Wham. There's just something about that smile that I want to wipe off her face. There's just something about this that just doesn't seem to be funny anymore. Because that kid has a dream. That kid has a dream. And he's got a person that would rather see him fail than succeed, rather see him hurt than to help him. He needs somebody reliable. And I'm just telling you, there's been times I'm weird. I yell at the comic, Charlie Brown, don't go with her. Let me do it. Let me hold it. I will hold the ball for you. Let me get in there for you, Charlie Brown. I won't let you down. You know what it is to be around someone who's unreliable? You know what you are when you're unreliable? Trust in an unreliable person in a time of trouble is like a rotten tooth or a faltering foot. One word comes to mind right there, doesn't it? Painful. Trust in an unreliable person is going to be painful. It's going to be painful. But you know what? Proverbs also says this. Reliable friends who do what they say, thus they are like cool drinks in a sweltering heat, refreshing. Reliable friends who do what they say. I'll be there for you. I'll get this taken care of for you. I'll make this happen for you. It's going to be 90 degrees today. It's going to be 91 tomorrow. When you get that cold drink, you think about that's what you are when you're reliable. When someone's reliable, it's a refreshing drink. This morning, Lucy needs to get right with God. And every one of you are thinking right now, I know who my Lucys are. I don't have one. I got about I got a good list. I've got a good list. I want to yell at them. I want to scream at them. I want to say, get right with God. But I also got to look in the mirror. How many times have I been Lucy? And I don't want to be Lucy. I want to be a faithful and true holder. And you know who the most faithful holder of all time was? Jesus Christ. He didn't have to stay on that cross, did he? He held on to the cross to die for you. Because you could never do anything for your salvation. He did everything, the faithful holder. This morning we have an opportunity with one another, with our community, where we work, to take on a position that very few people want in football. We have the opportunity to be a holder. Be a Hall of Fame holder for Jesus Christ. Father, I pray that right now each one of us will be challenged by what we've heard, that we would want to be living a life of helping others. Living a life not of success and status, being self-absorbed, being selfish, but living a life of significance, making sacrifices for others. I pray, Father, that you will quicken our spirit when we're around people in need, and that we will practice the Hebrew 10:24, the James 1:27. We will look intently to see what the needs are. Father, that we'll have that spirit of determination that through you we can make that difference. And that we, Father, will be an encourager, and that we will always be known as reliable. Others can count on us. You can count on us. And I pray this in Christ's name. Amen.